Well, good morning. Welcome back to Mr. Keith Online. I'm so glad you came to hear today's guest speaker. I have Austin Heinz from Waypoint Inspection. He is one of the owners, and I'm so glad that he's here with us today.
Thanks, Keith. Happy to be here.
Great. So, Austin, oftentimes I have buyers who say, well, why do I need a home inspection? What even is it? So my first question for you today is, what is a home inspection?
Yeah, Keith. So really an overview, a home inspection is an independent evaluation of a property and the different components within that property. Typically requested during the real estate transaction, as you mentioned, not always, but the most common scenario is somebody looking to purchase a home and wanting that independent evaluation to let them know if the home is in good condition, if there are any issues they need to be aware of, kind of just giving them the full picture of what exactly they're getting into with what is most likely the biggest investment that they're making in their life.
Great, thank you. So for our next question, what do home inspectors look for? You talk about the big picture. What does that mean?
Yeah, so there's a few different components within the inspection itself. At the end of the day, most home inspectors follow the standards of practice set forward by either the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors or the American Society of Home Inspectors. So we follow the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. And our inspections are broken down into usually three main categories, which are major items. So things that are either going to be a safety hazard, things that can become a safety hazard, or just truly major issues in the home. The second category is going to be minor items. These are things that are more cosmetic, things that we still want the home buyer to know about, but really aren't going to be things that should be like a make it or break it, right? Or that big of a deal from the transaction standpoint. And then the last thing is going to be maintenance recommendations. So these are things that we're calling out just to say, hey, if you want to get more lifespan out of this system, or if you want to make sure you don't have these future issues, these are the things that you can do in the home now to make sure you're putting it in the best possible condition moving forward. So there are thousands of things that we look at during a home inspection, but at the end of the day, they fall into those three main categories of major items, minor items, and maintenance recommendations.
So I have a buyer who wants to get a home inspection, and he or she asked me, well, what are the benefits of having a home inspection? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, to me, there are three main benefits that we can break down. And the first one I think is probably the most common sense, but it's still worth mentioning anyway, which is just knowing what you're getting into, right? When you're looking to spend as much money as you are in a home, you want to know what's going on with that home to make sure it's going to be a good investment. So getting a home inspection done, getting that independent third-party evaluation gives you an unbiased opinion as to what exactly you're getting into from a potential issue standpoint. The other benefit is possibly having some negotiating ability, right? Which I won't speak on that because, Keith, I know that's your specialty as a real estate agent. And it definitely depends on the kind of market that we're in too. But if you get that home inspection report and you work with your agent, there may be some ability to work with the seller on some of the items that are found. And then the last thing is having a to-do list of things to work on after you move in. So as I mentioned, we also call out minor items in the home, which are not going to be big things that you really need to be concerned about from a decision-making standpoint of moving forward with the home or not. But those are things that you can now go back to if you do decide to move forward and say, hey, I have my to-do list of things that I want to just fix up, when I have time after I move into the home.
Thanks for that answer. And another quick question I have for you is, oftentimes when my buyers are in contract, their mortgage broker will say, okay, it's time to look for some insurance. How do home inspections help with insurance?
Yeah, so in Florida, there are two primary inspection services that are insurance related. The first one is a 4-point insurance inspection. The second one is a wind mitigation insurance inspection. So without getting into too much detail and taking like 30 minutes to explain the difference between the two and everything they entail, the overview is that the 4-point report is what insurance companies are going to want to see what condition the four main components of the home are in. And they consider that to be the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC. So the insurance company just wants to know that those are in good condition before they provide insurance on the home. So depending on the house's age, depending on where it's located, the insurance company may say, we need that 4-point report to see the condition of those systems. Whereas the wind mitigation report is seeing, does the home have features to help it withstand a hurricane? If it does have some of those features, the insurance company may be required by the state to give a homeowner discounts depending on the features that the home has. So those are going to be the two primary ones. Again, they're a little bit situational, and that's a great conversation to have with the insurance agent that you're talking to see, are they going to require either of those reports?
Great. And finally, the last question that buyers are just dying to know is, what is the average cost of a home inspection?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on a number of factors, such as the age of the home, the size of the home, any additional features like a pool or spa, additional things like an outbuilding that has electricity running to it that needs to be inspected, additional services like a termite inspection, a septic inspection. But at the end of the day, I would say right now we're averaging around 500, 550 for the inspection when you're talking about adding in some of those additional features. Most home inspection companies will start somewhere lower, like 339, 349, but usually when you talk about adding in those additional services, you're looking more to like the $500 to $600 range.
Okay, great. Well, that's all the time we have for us today, but Austin, I really appreciate your time with us today. And for those of you who are looking to find an inspection company, I do recommend Waypoint. I've used them several times and I continue to plan to recommend them in the future. But as a point of reference for all home buyers, home inspectors are plentiful and it's your choice at the very end of the day. But Austin, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having me.